13번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
Curiosity makes us much more likely to view a tough problem as an interesting challenge to take on. A stressful meeting with our boss becomes an opportunity to learn. A nervous first date becomes an exciting night out with a new person. A colander becomes a hat. In general, curiosity motivates us to view stressful situations as challenges. Rather than threats, to talk about difficulties more openly, and to try new approaches to solving problems. In fact, curiosity is associated with a less defensive reaction to stress and, as a result, less aggression when we respond to irritation.
14번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은? 3점.
The whole of human society operates on knowing the future weather. For example, farmers in India know when the monsoon rains will come next year. And so they know when to plant the crops. Farmers in Indonesia know there are 2 monsoon rains each year. So next year they can have 2 harvests. This is based on their knowledge of the past, as the monsoons have always come at about the same time each year in living memory. But the need to predict goes deeper than this. It influences every part of our lives. Our houses, roads, railways, airports, offices, and so on, are all designed for the local climate. For example, in England all the houses have central heating, as the outside temperature is usually below 20 C. But no air conditioning, as temperatures rarely go beyond 26 C, while in Australia, the opposite is true. Most houses have air conditioning but rarely central heating.
15번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
For creatures like us, evolution smiled upon those with a strong need to belong. Survival and reproduction are the criteria of success by natural selection, and forming relationships with other people can be useful for both survival and reproduction. Groups can share resources, care for sick members, scare off predators, fight together against enemies, divide tasks so as to improve efficiency, and contribute to survival in many other ways. In particular, if an individual and a group want the same resource, the group will generally prevail. So competition for resources would especially favor a need to belong. Belongingness will likewise promote reproduction, such as by bringing potential mates into contact with each other, and in particular by keeping parents together to care for their children, who are much more likely to survive if they have more than one caregiver.
16번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
You can say that information sits in one brain, until it is communicated to another, unchanged in the conversation. That's true of sheer information, like your phone number or the place you left your keys. But it's not true of knowledge. Knowledge relies on judgments, which you discover and polish in conversation with other people or with yourself. Therefore you don't learn the details of your thinking until speaking, or writing it out in detail and looking back critically at the result. Is what I just said foolish, or is what I just wrote a deep truth? In the speaking or writing, you uncover your bad ideas, often embarrassing ones, and good ideas too, sometimes fame-making ones. Thinking requires its expression.
17번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
The most remarkable and unbelievable consequence of melting ice and rising seas is that together they are a kind of time machine, so real that they are altering the duration of our day. It works like this: as the glaciers melt and the seas rise, gravity forces more water toward the equator. This changes the shape of the Earth ever so slightly, making it fatter around the middle, which in turn slows the rotation of the planet similarly to the way a ballet dancer slows her spin by spreading out her arms. The slowdown isn't much, just a few thousandths of a second each year. But like the barely noticeable jump of rising seas every year, it adds up. When dinosaurs lived on the Earth, a day lasted only about 23 hours.
18번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
As the social and economic situation of countries got better, wage levels and working conditions improved. Gradually people were given more time off. At the same time, forms of transport improved, and it became faster and cheaper to get to places. England's Industrial Revolution led to many of these changes. Railways, in the 19th century, opened up now. Famous seaside resorts such as Blackpool and Brighton. With the railways came many large hotels. In Canada, for example, the new coast-to-coast railway system made possible the building of such famous hotels as Banff Springs and Chateau Lake Louise in the Rockies. Later, the arrival of air transport opened up more of the world and led to tourism growth.
19번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
We tend to believe that we possess a host of socially desirable characteristics, and that we are free of most of those that are socially undesirable. For example, a large majority of the general public thinks that they are more intelligent, more fair-minded, less prejudiced, and more skilled behind the wheel of an automobile than the average person. This phenomenon is so reliable and ubiquitous that it has come to be known as the Lake Wobegon effect. After Garrison Keillor's fictional Community, where the women are strong, the men are good-looking, and all the children are above average. A survey of 1 million high school seniors found that 70% thought they were above average in leadership ability, and only 2% thought they were below average. In terms of ability to get along with others, all students thought they were above average. 60% thought they were in the top 10%, and 25% thought they were in the top 1%.
20번. 다음 글의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은?
The interaction of workers from different cultural backgrounds with the host population might increase productivity due to positive externalities like knowledge spillovers. This is only an advantage up to a certain degree. When the variety of backgrounds is too large, fractionalization may cause excessive transaction costs for communication, which may lower productivity. Diversity not only impacts the labor market, but may also affect the quality of life in a location. A tolerant native population may value a multicultural city or region because of an increase in the range of available goods and services. On the other hand, diversity could be perceived as an unattractive feature if natives perceive it as a distortion of what they consider to be their national identity. They might even discriminate against other ethnic groups, and they might fear that social conflicts between different foreign nationalities are imported into their own neighborhood.